There's no doubt about it, one of the most important tools in the kitchen is a sharp knife. A dull knife is frustrating and dangerous as you have to use more force when slicing or chopping. When you use a sharp knife, you know it. Cooking is more fun and food preparation is easy for anyone, even the inexperienced. There are different ways to sharpen a knife, but professional chefs and culinary schools all use sharpening stones, not electric appliances or pull-through gadgets. Stones are the most efficient and effective. Hi, my name is Kelly Quist. I'm a graduate of the Culinary Institute of America, and I'm here to show you how to sharpen your knives today. Using the Norton Professional Sharpening System makes sharpening with stones easy. Here's how. Place the blade on the edge of the stone closest to you and tip the blade to the sharpening angle. Place the fingers of your other hand toward the back edge of the knife and then push the blade away from you across the surface of the stone from heel to tip. Use the hand holding the knife to guide the blade and the fingers on the back of the knife to apply pressure. Do this 2 or 3 times, then flip the knife over and repeat. That's it. Pretty simple. Now let's get into more detail. How do you hold the knife at the correct angle? Many people are afraid to sharpen their knives because they think they will ruin the knife if they don't hold the exact angle supplied by the manufacturer. This simply is not true. The angle only needs to be close. What is really important is to have a sharp edge. Manufacturers of traditional European-style cutlery typically put an edge of between 20 to 25 degrees on their edges. Manufacturers of Asian-style knives, such as santokus and Japanese cleavers, recommend an angle between 12 and 15 degrees. Fillet knives also have an edge angle in this range. To help you get a sense for the angle, Norton provides a sharpening angle guide. For a European-style knife like this one, use the angle marked A. It's the shorter side. Place the guide toward the end of the stone and position the knife blade on the guide. Remove the guide and begin sharpening. When sharpening an Asian knife, like this santoku, use the angle marked B, the longer side. Some people, when they are first learning to sharpen, will leave the guide on the stone so they can check the angle on each sharpening stroke. With practice, you will get the feel and you won't need to use the sharpening angle guide. What stone do you use? What grip? Our approach to sharpening is based on respect for the value of your knife. You want to minimize the amount of metal you remove to get it sharp again. The best practice is to resharpen the blade on a fine stone as soon as it stops cutting easily. Resharpen the edge on the fine grit stone. 3 to 6 strokes on each side of the knife should be sufficient. If the edge is dull, start sharpening on a medium stone. If you don't have a medium stone, use a coarse stone, but don't apply a lot of pressure. After you get the knife sharp on the medium stone, you will want to sharpen it on the fine stone. The fine stone will put a smoother finish on the edge so it will cut cleaner and last longer. If your knife is severely dull, nicked, or damaged, you'll want to rebuild the edge. For this, you should use a coarse silicone carbide stone, Norton Crystalline. Sharpen the edge on this stone until it is sharp. And then sharpen on a medium stone if you have one. And then the fine stone. You'll end up with a new edge. There are some simple tips that can make sharpening easier. Push the blade away from you across the surface of the stone from heel to tip so the point finishes on the far end of the stone. Keep the cutting edge in contact with the surface through the entire stroke by gradually raising the hand, holding the handle to match the curve of the blade. Try to use the entire stone and use the hand holding the knife to guide the blade and the fingers on the back of the knife to apply pressure. Keep in mind that not every sharpening stroke has to be perfect. The stone removes only a small amount of metal, so a slip-up won't be a problem. Lock your wrist when sharpening, which will help you keep a fairly consistent angle. Imagine that you are trying to cut a very thin slice off the stone as you move the knife across the stone surface. If you don't feel a slight drag as you move the blade across the stone surface, increase the angle until you do. If it feels like the edge is digging into the stone surface, decrease the angle. Relax when you do it. This isn't a science and you don't have to be perfect at it. You'll be impressed by how comfortable you'll become in just a few tries. If you want, you can test the sharpness with a sheet of paper. The knife should cut smoothly over its entire length. If not, sharpen a little more. Sharpening stones should be lubricated prior to and during sharpening so the stones don't become clogged with metal and abrasives. Once this happens, the stone will no longer sharpen efficiently. We recommend using Norton Sharpening Oil. This product is a highly refined, lightweight, food-safe mineral oil. You can also use plain tap water instead of the oil. Simply pour the oil or water into the unit up to the fill line, if you are using the professional system. As you rotate the stones, you'll rotate them through the oil or water. Remaining oil can be left in the unit for future use. Be careful not to spill the oil if you carry the unit to storage. Water should be removed after each use. Or apply lubricant directly to the stone and wipe clean when done. The Norton Stones have been made or mined here in America for almost 200 years. Norton produces the most complete line of man-made abrasives in the industry here in Littleton, New Hampshire, or quarries them in Hot Springs, Arkansas. The factory has been in Littleton, New Hampshire since the mid-1800s. Prior to that, the factory was in Pike, New Hampshire, where the first suitable stones for sharpening was found in the United States. Some of the craftsmen are second and third generation Norton employees. Some of the steps require sophisticated machinery and some require years of practice. The stones we use in our knife sharpening systems are made from the best abrasives for knife sharpening. That is why food service professionals, chefs, and culinary schools worldwide use Norton Stones to keep their edge.